Welcome back, everybody. Excellent. We have sound. So we're going to be doing a little bit of D&D prep using Fantasy Grounds Unity. Don't forget, if you're watching this on the Using the Tubes, first of all, thank you. Appreciate you. Secondly, you can also go to watch live. So I don't do these preps at a certain time anymore, but I do the live play on Thursday nights, Wednesday nights, and Sunday nights for D&D and Starfinder. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be finishing this up in about an hour, just over an hour, and then half an hour later, we'll actually be playing it. So come by, check it. If you do catch this, if you follow, like, and subscribe, all that stuff, then you'll get little notifications saying, hey, Svenster's back. It's usually on Thursdays, sometimes on Wednesday morning, um, and on a rare occasion on Tuesday, but typically Thursdays when I do these. I also do Magic the Gathering Arena. So if you like Magic the Gathering, there you go. I've got that too, and you can check all of it out on the Using the Tubes. I have silly things you can buy like this, make me wear and have on my face and my head. So come by, say hi, and if you're into Fantasy Grounds, feel free to come on in and say hello. All right, so this is Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So if we go to story under your campaign over here, and it's the story is a little book. You can go here to open this up. I have 68 pages, each with I want to say 50 entries. Um, so I have a handful or two of stuff. So if we come here to, let's see, all right, so just looking for the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Here you go. DMMO, Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Um, so you click on this, you can pull open the things here. You can see the story entries for it. Um, you can see it goes from 5th level character, the characters when they're 5th level, all the way up to 17 to 20. And oh, okay, so this is for character interactions. If they're role playing really well, then you should give them a 50 XP reward or 250 XP reward, something like that. Um, anyway, so you've got all the different history of it. You've got different pictures and different things of what's happening with the Yawning Portal, which is how you get into it. Um, it's been a minute since I've reminded them of the Yawning Portal, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this into. So if we go over here to where the options, where your combat tracker and all that is up there. Ah, Atomic, welcome. Stopping by again. Awesome. Appreciate you. Those of you who aren't familiar with Atomic, he is every morning, weekday morning, I should say, from my time, it's 5 to 9. His time is 8 to noon. So come, wake up, put on a little bit of Atomic Hero Squad, start your day. Uh, Lots of variety, lots of cool stuff. Good, really good community. Check them out. So you go over here to your options, and underneath your tools, same place your combat tracker and your calendar and all that stuff is. And within the options, you'll see message of the day. So here's my message of the day. I'm going to go ahead and so the Scrambled Eggs is the name of the group. They have determined to call themselves that. One of our players is Scrambles the Death Dealer. He's a Minotaur, and so they decided to call themselves the Scrambled Eggs. Um, they have decided to enter the Dungeon of the Mad Mage below the Yawning Portal. So I'm going to go ahead and go here, go enter, and just drag it from here. So if you're, depending on the theme you're using, how your Fantasy Grounds looks might be a little different, but it's either a shield or a dragon head, depending on which one you're using. Um, and so I'll move this over so it's free and independent of this, and then drag it on over. Poof, and that makes a link automatically. So the players, when they log in, the first thing that pops up in the middle of the screen before they can even grab their character is this message of the day. So I remind them what's happened the week before by updating the message of the day. I typically try to do this before I even log off the table at the end of the night. I try to go ahead and get everything ready to go for the next time so that I have this ready even if I don't have time in between sessions. Here we go. And so this has the link to that. This has a link to my Syrinscape, which is my sound machine. And it also has the dungeon map. So when you're dealing with something of this magnitude and this age, Dungeon of the Mad Mage is one of the earlier things that D&D came out with, Wizards of the Coast, and so there's lots of different stuff that happens here, and you can see all the different things that you can do and the different quests and other things that you can do as well. And that's just this is all has isn't even there's 18 different entries and they haven't even started the actual dungeon itself. Um, so they're entered as if you, I don't know if you read that message of the day, but it said after a shopping spree, they went down to the second level. So here's the second level. This is actually where they are. This is the player map. Blink. That's them. That's where they are as they're entering here into this dungeon. And at the bottom of the second level, at the entry to the second level, there's actually a couple different places for the second level entry. You can also have it be here, but I wanted them to be going in up here instead. So what that means is that this is going to be the entry to level 3, which I think is what it's supposed to be anyway, because if you're looking at the shadows and the way that they built the stairs, this is going down anyway. Anyway, if you look, this is a special map. You see it's all fancy, it's nice, it's colored, has all this different stuff in it. This is a map I found online. I would love to give Zacchaeus, I believe. So I'm going to go to my modules here, library, modules. I'm going to show you the reference manual real quick to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So it's part of Tales from the Yawning Portal. So you can do that with any module that you have, especially the WotC, the Wizards of the Coast books, like the Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, Dungeon Master's Guide. You can open up this reference manual, and it's basically like having the PDF. It looks just like the book. Boom. It's the same as having the book here with the pictures and the setup and everything there. And the cool thing is you can grab any section of this and put it in your hotkeys. So for example, what I usually do here in the Player's Handbook is I go ahead and grab the appendices. I mean the conditions, of, which is Appendix A. Click on the symbol and it opens it up as a window, and then I can just drag this straight down into the hotkeys. And I have one over here buried in all these things right there, Appendix A conditions. So you can do this with any section. So if you have like spell lists, magic lists, I mean pretty much anything you want to do from any of these books, the tables for selling magic items, you have the gods, the multiverse, all these things. Boom. All this stuff is here. And you can just pop it out, make it as big or as small as you want for your viewing pleasure. And then you can also share this. So if you right click on it, you can then share it with all your players and they can then drop it down. So I do that with the conditions a lot. Whether they own the book or not doesn't matter. As long as you have it, then they will have access to it. So going back to here's the Tales of the Yawning Portal. This is about the actual Yawning Portal itself. Some of the different creatures that they made in here, along with the art already built in. Like I said, these reference manuals are really nice, just like it's a PDF of them um, running the adventures, about the adventures. So there's all these different adventures in Tales from the Yawning Portal. And then what they do is you then go to that specific. It's like here's Tales of the Yawning Portal, the Hidden Shrine of Tamalkan, or Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So I do have a point. I am getting there. Here's the Dungeon of the Mad Mage reference manual. So for example, level 2, which is where we are, here's the map they provide. Does it work? Absolutely. Here you go. Here's the player map, and it has links and everything. You can drop your tokens right on there. Everything is awesome. And you can it shows you where you can put expanded dungeon. I mean, everything is nice. But it's not Sven Zone nice. So typically what I would do with the smaller adventures and smaller places is I'll build a map. I'll put this on there, make it a layer, and then I'll just build a map on top. But this is just one level of 17, not to mention all the extra bonus content that they have. So I went online and found these. And they are on DM's Guild. So if we go to dmsguild.com, you can grab these maps by Zacchaeus. Really well done. I do want to make sure that I am giving the correct. Does he sign it? No, he didn't sign it. Let's see, level 2 arcane. I'm going to pull it up here in my images. See if he LVL2. No. Okay, I don't have it listed in the source. So I'm going to pull it up real quick in my Googly. So I have Dungeon Masters Guild as a hotkey, dmsguild.com. There you go. My library. Search within your library. Here we go. Right here, Vex. So I'm sorry, I did not. I misspoke. That's why I wanted to double check. So Vex, expanded Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Those are what these are. This is actually something different. This is not the map. What this is. So remember on that white map I just showed you, there were locations for expanded dungeons. This is what he did. He took and he expanded that dungeon and made little locations for each of them. And so you can see here, he's got little dropout maps that you can just incorporate into your Dungeons and Mad Mage with the encounters and the maps and everything. Everything's all done for you. And you can do the bundle, which I think is what I did because I had the first 5. $2. $2 to do it. So for $2, you get all this extra stuff. And like I said, you can also get all 23 expanded levels now available. And you can, so DM's Guild, boom, Vexes. That's the actual expansions there. Looks like the maps, I probably just searched the Googly and found Zacchaeus. I don't remember if he has a Patreon or not, but they're definitely worth it. He put a lot of work and effort into them. They're amazing, and so they're really good maps. I want to make sure my grid is correct. It is. Okay, yep, 10 feet per square. Okay. All right. Anyway, so that was my first step, is to bring in the map. Now this map does not have line of sight. So what I did was I took, and if you go up here, you unlock it, the image, click on your line of sight. You can then add line of sight as needed. Typically, I do the doors first, and then I do the walls second. And I went ahead and I did all that with the map. So that should be all done. There might be a secret door or 2 that I may have missed, but I can throw those in on the fly, or as I'm doing stuff like now when I'm preparing for the night, I'll find out, oh hey, there's a secret door here, and I'll fix it. So now what I do, so like here, there should be a secret door. Let's see. Yes, so there is a secret door there. So now what I do is I go ahead, and now that I have the map I want, the other thing it did is there were no pins. So with the pins, it's a little trickier. So I have in my hotkey down here, level 2 and a level 2 DM. Level 2 DM has all of the pins. And then what I did was, like here, there's 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, but there's only 1 pin for the Goblin Bazaar. So I opened it up by clicking on it. And then as you go to the next page of each one, is 1A. So I then, from here, I just click and drag that over to it. looking at the map, so A is down here, B, C, D. So I just go through, drag it down here, A, B, etc., etc. If I wanted to, I could also do the encounters, throw the encounters on here, the parcels. I can drop all of that on the map if I wanted to. That way, you don't even have to open the other stuff if you didn't want to, if you're in the middle of, or you accidentally close it down. It just saves you a step by having the encounter right there. Um, Especially for smaller maps, smaller dungeons, I link everything. I have pictures, I have encounters, parcels, images, everything is all linked together, multiple spaces. Same thing in a story. So like here in a story, I would have the map, boom, linked, and pictures and all the other stuff will be linked within the story as well as being on a map. Anyway, so I did all that. I went through, put all the pins on there. So now we're ready to go. So what I like to do is I want to make sure that I also changed the name, by the way. So if we come up here, you'll see that it says item not identified, and it has ID. And if we click it, item not identified. And what that does is it shows this is the actual ID name, and this is the non-ID name. So if you have a monster image, so say I take a orc, and they don't know what they don't know. You don't want them to know what this is. You click it like this, and when you share this image, it'll say unidentified. Or what I usually do is I type in what I want it to say. It'll be like gray, gross sky, something like that. Um, so same thing here. When I share this, and same thing. So for example, here in the message of the day, it says 2 levels below Durnan. Durnan is the innkeeper at the Yawning Portal. So this is basically 2 levels. The second level, level 2. Um, so they don't need to know it's arcane. It's titled Arcane Chambers. So I just have 2 levels below Durnan. Boom. And that's what they see every time they open up the map. Because it's not identified. All right, so that brings us to the final step. So as they're coming down, they will have a choice. There's an open entryway here. So they're probably they will definitely at least look through here to see what's going on. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, poof, and just take a quick scan through what it is, trash and debris. There is no banging noises can be heard to the north. So there's nothing else I need to add here. It's already drawn in. Everything looks good. So we can ignore this and we'll go to B, which is the auction hall. Goblins are erecting a stage against the north wall of this 20-foot high chamber using wood stolen from elsewhere. Once the stage is complete, the goblins plan to auction slaves and other valuable merchandise. A pile of wrecked wooden furniture lies in the area's northwest corner, which is up here. And then you have goblins, 7 goblins. So I check and I make sure that the tokens are correct. And then I want to place them. So they are labeled as placed because they're on the normal map that comes with it. They're not on this map though. If push comes to shove and I have to run the encounter without placing them first, not a big deal. You just drop them in like this using the add encounter to a combat tracker and then drag them from the map, or you can also drag them from here before you drop them in there. Either one. The 7 goblins are here. 3 of them are using stone hammers to pound rusty nails through decrepit wooden planks. The other 4 are clustered in the middle of the room, passing around a scroll. Someone has drawn a crude blueprint of a stage. If attacked, they will retreat to 1D, which is over there, the market hall. Otherwise, they pay no attention to strangers. So they're just going to ignore them, which is good to know. So we'll go ahead and zoom in a bit so we can see the map. And then, yeah, we really don't need this open just yet. So we'll lock this. Give us a little bit more real estate to work with on our screen. So these guys are working up here. 1, 2, 3. And 4. So they're working on this. Actually, no, 3 of them are working on them. 3 of them are using hammers. Never mind. These guys are here talking. So we're going to put them over here, talking to each other. Looking at the piece of paper for the map. They're small creatures. I don't remember if the tokens stay small or not. So this is all set. This is ready to go. I am going to go ahead and throw this encounter, link it in the map. Boink. I'm going to rename it encounter. Close it. All right. So that when I cover over this, it says encounter ENC, and this just says the room. So it tells me which one is the story and which one's the encounter. Next, we go to C, which is down here. 4 iron gibbets hang from chains hooked to 10-foot high ceiling. The gibbets are empty except for one that holds a wailing goblin named Glom. Glom was caught stealing food intended for the goblin boss, Yek. She hasn't eaten in 2 days, and happily provided information or her service as a guide in exchange for food. She knows about the magic circlet that turned Yek into a human and where the goblin boss keeps the rest of his treasure. So, Captive Goblin that's the NPC sheet. I'm actually going to change her token, so I'm going to unlock it. Go to my assets and change the token. Hey, Camzilla, welcome. So, Fantasy Grounds is a way to play D&D or almost any role-playing game. Things like Call of Cthulhu and White Wolf and Vampire the Masquerade, Starfinder. There's Savage World. There's tons of different ones that are used here. Conan, Fallout. And so this is just a way of showing. I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena. Awesome. Great. I'm glad that you found it on your phone and it's working for you. I hope you enjoy it. It's one of my favorite games. I have Cards IRL. Don't play it as much anymore. Arena is my go-to, but I also have the Puzzle Quest, which I told you about earlier. So cool. I'm glad you're liking it. I'm glad you have been playing it. So let's look for a goblin token. You notice I have the tokens here. Your assets are over here, underneath your library, next to your modules. So we're looking for a female, pitiful female. This one's not bad. I like that one. It says it's a boss, but who cares what it says? So you can see all the different versions of goblins. And then it's going to jump to H. We don't care. So I don't like any of these. We'll go back. So they've already befriended a couple goblins. She's been using a red and black deck, Camzilla. Nice. Red and black is good. red is fast. So red has several different things. Red is dragons, goblins, and a lot of fast spells like lightning bolt and shock and stuff like that. Black is all about death, killing, hurting yourself to hurt them. Um, Vampires, so those and demons. So there really isn't a bad combo, but red and black are both ways to hurt and damage your opponents. So that's cool. So I'm going to go ahead. I like this one a lot because it's a close up. I haven't used this token before. So I'm going to drag it over here and drop it onto there. Boom. So now, boom. The other thing I can do too is I want to see what kind of images I have. Images for goblins. All right. So looking at all the different goblin pictures I have. That would be a cute one to use for her. I don't think any of these are going to work. What's this? Okay. That's cool. It's a nice image there. Goblinoids. That's a bugbear down here. Looks like a hobgoblin in the back. All right, so that looks like. All right, so let's see if we can find this token. Close it, close it, close it, close it. I'm not seeing that token. Nope. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a quick. Actually, this might be a Nilbog. Let's see if it's. It is not. See, they're very similar though. One is pink and one is blue. All right, so boom. So let's go back to images and do goblin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a quick token. So one of these tokens here. Yeah, we're going to kill this. So to do that, I need an image from which to pull this. In Fantasy Grounds, you can't. If you buy like a book, you can open the image within Fantasy Grounds, but you don't have access to that image. Now you can import an image, and that's what I'm going to be doing here in just a moment. So I need to make an image of this. So first thing I do is use my snipping tool and do a little snippy snip. And I'll just grab this part. Doesn't have to be perfect. Boink. I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as the token now, so that I'm just going to overwrite the image until it gets where I want it to go. So I have my Fantasy Grounds folder. I'm going to tokens, and I'm going to. It's going to be a ping, but I don't think I can make it a ping just yet. File type. I can. Okay, so I'll make it a ping. And then we're going to make it goblin hat, because it's a goblin with a hat. All right, so save. So there we go. We've got her. So now what we do is we go back to our use internet browser. I use this is Bing, I think, right now. Google, something, one of the above. This is Google. Uh, and then go to Pixlr.com, Pixlr.com, the free online photo editor. And it is. Now, I use them so much that I went ahead and paid for them. My deck will be complete when I get the Goblin Squadron card. Cool. And like I said, you'll be able to not necessarily complete because there will always be a possibility of changes. Oh, of course. Absolutely. Um, yeah, and you'll be able to get those wild cards pretty soon, uh, as long as you're playing. So that's awesome. Yeah, goblins can be, there are lots of goblins, lots of different types of goblins, and they work, synergize well, build on each other. And so you can get, if your opponent is not careful, you can just flood the board with goblins and take them over. So you go to Pixlr.com, editor, boom. Oh wait, I'm doing the wrong thing. So this is if I wanted to get rid of the white stuff around it and get rid of the things. You can see all my different, my thumbnails I made for my streams and my other character art here. Um, so what I actually want to go to is roll advantage. So it's roll advantage, one word. Go here. Uh, this is the home, and you just go to token stamp, choose image, and so now I go to the one I just made, which is in Fantasy Grounds and tokens. And then is Goblin Hat, AEFG Goblin Hat. So now I go here and I pick the style of token I want. I'm fairly sure they're going to befriend this goblin because they've had a history of befriending goblins. So I'm going to go ahead and just make it this one because it's cool. I like this little squiggly lines. This is how you change. You pick it. I'm going to change the tint to like a greenish because she's a goblin. Let's make it a little darker. There we go. And then you take the image itself and zoom in. I personally like really close. Tokens because they're so small. When you see them, I want them to be easily recognizable. And I'm going to chop off the bottom of this. Never mind. There we go. So there's our little goblin friend Glom. And then you go here to download. And so now we're going to do the same thing. We go to Fantasy Grounds, tokens, Goblin Hat, down here, save. Do you want to overwrite it? Yes. Okay. So because I saved it in the Fantasy Grounds folder, I then go here to my assets again. I click this button down here. Looks like the recycle button. I got 865 points waiting until you D&D game. There you go. Very good. Yeah, the Sven Zone has some pretty cool stuff. Like I said, you can do the silliness. Here's the list of things you can do. There's also, so I roll on this chart. There's 20 if you want to make me wear or do silly things. There's also a Sven voice. You can pay a little extra and pick from this list if you want to do Sven silliness. Or you can help out the players, help out the monsters. Lots of stuff you can do. Um, so that would be awesome. We'd love to have you stick around and say hi to everybody. It's a crazy crew on Thursday nights. It's actually my adult son and my brother, and then we have a couple other people, female friend who's younger, the youngest of us all, and then this other friend of ours. So it's a very nice group. Lots of laughs, lots of fun. Most of the quotes come from that night, from that campaign. Yeah, that's from that campaign, Micah. All right. So when you're in the assets, you click that button, the recycle button, and it says folder assets refreshed. So now I go to tokens and I can type it. We will start at in an hour from now, so at 6 o'clock, or whatever time it is your time. Right now it's 5:03 our time here in the left coast. Um, so and we go for 3 hours on Thursdays. Sundays it's only 2.5. We start at half an hour from now, 5:30, 8:30 Eastern time on Sundays, and that's Starfinder. All right, so Goblin. So now I can just type in Goblin, Goblin hat, boom, and there it is. Boom. There's my token, and I drag it over. Oof. Close this out, and now we can take, and I can put that token on the map. So if you look at these four, there's like little splotches. They're cages. I'm going to take a look and see if I have a gibbet or a cage in the assets to make them look a little bit more presentable. Let's see. I don't think we have gibbets. Well, let's see. Oh, all. First of all, I got to go to all. And then we'll try gibbet. Nope. Okay. So then we'll go to cage. All right. See, there's a gibbet right there. All right. And here's one that's open. So I think I'm going to have these three that are open. Or do I want to have one like this? I'll have these. So what you do is you go here. Move this in a little bit. So you can see your map. Unlock it. I'm going to go here to paint. I'm going to add a new paint layer. So if you'll notice, my image is down below the screen. There's no worries. All you do is you just hold down the control button, click left button on your mouse and drag. And that resizes the window, the image there within Fantasy Grounds. And that's true for any image or pretty much any window within Fantasy Grounds. So now I can see the bottom. So I go to paint and I go to paint, adding a paint layer. I'm going to rename it. So this is in the goblin area. So if I go here to play, zoom out a little bit, this is the whole area is the Goblin Bazaar. So I'm going to change this to Goblin. How bizarre, how bizarre. Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, baby. So click it, make sure it's highlighted. Otherwise, it will put this paint layer somewhere else. And then I'm going to go to stamp. I'm going to be stamping these cages on the map. I'm going to go ahead and leave this stuff here because it actually looks really good under as like the detritus and waste that would be under the cages anyway. So I'm going to drop this in there, poink. Right now the size is 2 squares by 2 squares. So I want it about 1 point, I want a little bit bigger than 1 square, so I'm going to say 1.7. Right now, this is aspect lock is locked. Boink. There you go. 1 by 7 by 7. And then you see as I drag it around, you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it right on the mess. You can also hold control. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So you see here on the sides it's 1.4 now. That's good. So we go click. I'm going to hold shift and use my mouse wheel to turn it. Click. Turn it. Turn it all the way around. Click. And then I'm going to take the regular cage, do the same thing, drop it. We're going to make it 1.5, just a little bit bigger than the other one. Oops, the aspect lock, there we go. And now we've got our cage, and we're going to drop this here. No, I like it, and I'm going to make it the same size, just actually 1.2 is a little smaller. That's fine. Click. All right, so now we've got this here. I'm going to show you a trick. What I'm going to do now is go to the layers. All right, Camzilla is Eastern time. I don't know much about D&D, but my daddy used to play all the time, and I've been trying to get into it. Nice. Well, this is a great way of doing it. Fantasy Grounds is awesome because you can play with people all over the world, and as long as the Dungeon Master has the books, you don't have to pay for anything. So, like if you wanted to jump into my campaign, for example, it wouldn't cost you a dime. You download the demo. Now, you said you don't have a PC right now, and it doesn't, it's not supported on phone yet. But if you ever do get a PC, that would be a good way of going about it. Yeah, so like real life, if you were playing at a table, as long as one person had the book, you're good to go. It's the same thing here in Fantasy Grounds. So it's a lot of fun. All right, so here's our cages. So what we're going to do is, yeah, definitely take a look at it. Also, now that COVID is sort of all the other the restrictions linked with COVID are starting to go away and are mostly gone now. If you can find a local game store, a lot of them will have. It used to be Thursday nights. It might be Tuesday nights, but where they have, or it's called organized play. And so you can just ask at your local game store if they have that. And what that allows you to do is just walk in and they'll hand you a character and you can just start playing. So it makes it really easy, really nice to play and get into D&D. So if it's something you want to pursue, I would encourage it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Take that plunge. Um, I really enjoy D&D. I like Starfinder better, but D&D is a little bit easier to play, a little faster to understand, and it's definitely a lot of fun. All right, so here are my cages. I want to add shadows to them. And here's a neat little trick. So you go to your layers, you click on this one, and then what you do is you click on this. It says duplicate selected layer. So you duplicate it. So now I have a copy. Keeping it selected, that copy selected, not the original, you go to Tint Color Picker, and you drop these three down to 0. I mean, 0, 0, and then 75. And then this one is going to be usually about 100. And then you just, let's go with 150. Oops. And then you just slide it over a little bit. So you see here you have shadows of these things. And hold control. So right now it's locking to the grid, so it's going 1/2 a square every time I move it. So you hold control, and that lets you move it anywhere you want. So I'm going to drop it over here. So you zoom in, and we're going to drop it below. So now you've got these shadows. Got the cages and their shadows because they're hanging. Specifically, that's another reason why I wanted to have that shadows is because they're hanging, and you want to have the illusion of the 3D illusion and stuff of the shadows. So that's one way of doing it. I think I'm gonna make them make the shadows a little darker. Boom. Let's go. Actually, no, I screwed it up. Never mind. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, it reverted it back to full. Okay, so now we'll go back to 0, 0, 75, and we'll do 150. There we go. I think that was the same thing I just had before. Let's bring this down to 0, 0, 75. I keep hitting enter, and it's why is this? So let's go with 175, and then just click here. There we go. So now I can see how dark those shadows are. That's a little bit better. I like those shadows a little bit better at 175. Now I'll click OK, and there we go. All right, so there we go. We've got our gibbets, and then I can throw her token on here if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and drag her to here. Bink. And then I want to find that I closed the image by mistake. And go to other. Is this the same image? Nope, it's the wrong image I want, so I don't want that. So Control 1 makes this, instead of a link, it just makes it regular text. The image is glom. All right, so let's go to images. I gotta find that goblin again. I think it was the third one. Yep, there it is. So now I drag this token over to here. Bink. I'm going to open this up and go bink, glom, close. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this over as well. Bink. There we go. All right, so lock it. All right. So now we have our goblin. We have our cages. We have our image right next to the cage. I'm going to pull this. Lock, 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 lock. Go to play to pull the link down a little bit. There we go. All right, so now we're set up for this room. Um, this tells you about the DC, how difficult it is to open up that cage. All right, next is D. So D is the big area over here. Again, we'll open this up again. So this is this big area, the marketplace, more specifically down here. Yeah. And all right, so this ceiling has a 60-foot high ceiling. The room has a 60-foot high ceiling. 22 goblins are here. 16 vendors, 6 guards who stand in pairs near the exits. All right, so I'm going to change the tokens. So we're going to open these up. Got to go. We'll definitely be back when the game starts. Awesome. Well, I hope to see you again. I think you'll enjoy it tonight. Um, Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you keeping me company, Camzilla. You enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you in just over an hour. Give a round of applause for Camzilla. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change. So there are 8, he said 16 vendors and 8 guards. So 6 guards. 16 and 6 is 22, yeah. I'm going to go to NPCs and I'm going to make them, type in goblin. I'm going to make them a little bit tougher, so we'll make them bodyguards. I got to unlock it first. Unlock. Go to bodyguard. Unlock. Unk. Alright, so they do have different tokens. Perfect. Change this to 6. Change this to 16. So you just click on the square, type in the new number, and you're good to go. This is going to be an actually these are all neutral right now. They are not hostile. All right, so we'll zoom in. So we'll put the guards out first since we know where they are. 2 per door. And then we'll put 2 over here. Boink. Boink. You'll notice there's lighting as well. So we're going to go add the lighting here in just a moment. Okay, now we have the fun of adding on all these goblins. So 2 per stall. 1. Try to stick them around in pairs then. 1. Throw a couple more over here. See how well he did with differentiating the different stalls. All right, 2 more stalls left. He did a pretty good job. All right, there we go. So there are our merchants and our guards. We'll go ahead and redo this. I seriously doubt, I would be extremely shocked if they fight them, all these guys. They could easily kill, well, not easily, but they would kill them. But with my group, they typically won't do that. Anytime they can talk their way out, they will usually do so. I know I'm using absolutes in odd ways, but still. All right, so here's our map. Um, so here's the granite throne way up to the north. All right, so granite throne stands against north wall. The goblin vendors buy and sell stolen goods, including items listed in the player's handbook: armor, shields, weapon, gear, tools, trade goods, food, and drink. They buy the goods at half the price and sell them at 3 times the normal price. They can bargain the goblin down to half its asking price. Goblins' guards have orders to keep the peace. And then on the throne, Yek sits here when he deigns to preside over the market. The throne has been draped with animal skins and festooned with monster skulls and trinkets, twisted up in wire. And so here's the different parcels. All right, and then the 1E is over here. So in here, we're going to go ahead and throw in, since there are 2 torches here, we're going to go ahead and add lighting. There's a bunch of lighting in this room too. So you go here to locked. We're going to go ahead and close this. Slide over here, open this up a little bit, give us some more room. Open this up, go to lighting. Put it on the main map, the layer on the main map. And what we're going to do is we're going to add light. We're going to add torch. Preset. Torch. And then we go in and you just click where you want it to be. Click, click, and then there's a bunch of them in here. I'm going to make these candles instead of torches. So preset is candle. Making sure this is still selected. And now we're going to add all these candles on each of these light sources here. And then if you want to see how it looks, you go here to play, and everything goes away. You can't see it normally. And you go to turn, enable lighting. So you see, you have all these little candles and the other big torches. All right, so the candles are a little less bright than I thought they would be. I'm going to change out a couple of these for torches. So let's go ahead and go to back to lighting. So now you see all they're here. We've got the select light on. So we're going to go click and delete. Click, delete. And we're going to do these 2. Click, click. Now we go to lighting. Actually, I'm going to go to play to turn off the lighting so I can see what I'm doing here. Now we go back to lighting. We go to add light. Make sure we're still selected here. Preset, torch, click, 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 click. So what this will do is when we go back, we turn on lighting, boom. So now the whole room is lit because you've got these 2 torches We've got a tiny little section right here that's not lit. I think I'm going to change this one. I don't want the whole room to be lit this brightly. So let's go click and delete. There we go. See, that's nice. So the bottom part will be sort of in more of a shadow because of the candles. So go back to candle, add light, candle, and we go click. There we go. So now we have this torch and these two torches lighting up the room. Actually, let's go ahead and change this back to a here, click, delete. There we go. There we go. So that's not bad. So now we go back to play. So the candles are lighting up the room, and the torches up here have, yeah, I like that. That's cool. So then these are in shadow and stuff from the other torches. Cool. So that's what it looks like. You can see you've got they have their light, and their dark vision, which is why it's black and white here. And then these are actual lights. All right, so going back here, turn it off, boom. So we're pretty well set for now. If they go this way, there's no way they're going to go through all those encounters, role-playing with the goblins that are here, uh, and with Gibbet, or Glom rather, up here, stuff like that. So we're set if they go this way. If for some reason they ignore the banging and they ignore everything and come down here, let's see what this is. Water pump. In the center of this room is a rusted iron hand pump and a stone basin. The pump draws water from the springs. Okay, so the basin doesn't start with water, so I'm not going to make, you can make a little fancy water effect, but I'm not going to bother with that because the water isn't there until they add it. So, okay, and so then they would probably go to here. Both doors are difficult to open because furniture has been piled against them. There's an automaton. An animated life-size puppet of Halaster Blackcloak is hard at work on an experiment. The puppet is made from wood and canvas with a shoddy gray cloak draped over its shoulders. Dozens of cloth eyes have been sewn into the puppet. All right, let's check the interwebs and see if anybody has made an image of Halaster puppet. No, these are all actual puppets of Halaster the Mad Mage. Okay, so just checking to make sure I didn't miss it somewhere. Nope, okay. Just checking, you never know. The puppet looms over a stone table, covered. Okay, see, so there's an H. I don't like the H. So, unlock it. Let's put in a token. Sorry about the barking, guys. All right, this is the last thing we're going to be doing. I'll go ahead and put Wizard and see. Oops, I didn't want all. I should have put tokens. I'm going to go to tokens and do it again. Wizard. Here we go. All right, so let's see. Here's our Halaster puppet. We made sure we unlocked it. So I'll make this a little bit bigger. And so those are all we have. None of these really fit the description. Let's try puppet. That's cool. I like this really creepy puppet token. Look at that, that's awesome. All right, so take a zoom in, it'll be great. Okay, so we can close it. The puppet responds to any movement. Terrible and painful magical death, fireballs and lightning bolts be gone. Okay, okay, so it's just working, trying to make a potion, but it never will because it's not doing it correctly. Very nice. Okay. So I want to attribute these to the person speaking. So when you click on this bubble, you can right click on it and go to, oh, it's got to be open. So there we go. Unlock it first and then click on it and you'll see paragraph type. And no, that's the wrong one. You want to go to, it is paragraph type and it is chat frame. No. Come on, I just did this the other day. They changed how to do this, so I'm trying to figure out, is it heading? No. Chat frame, list, link, table. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it is, so right click and then right here to chat commands and assign speaker. So this speaker is Halaster Puppet. So the difference is if I just click this, it just shows up. If you put a person on it, it says who's speaking it. So it looks very different. So we're going to do the same thing here. Oh, it's not showing up. So why isn't it showing up? Click. There we go. So you got to click within the bubble first. So that was what I was doing before. You have to click within the speech, within the chat box. Right click, down chat commands, assign speaker, and then you can type who it is. This is actually Halaster. All right, so let's go ahead and close this. I want to check one thing real quick. Gonna go to my Discord. Trying to do a Nickelodeon take. Doesn't work. Click. There it is. All right. I want to see if the Sirenscape has any Halaster quotes. He might even have that quote. As we wait for the spinning blue circle of death. Here it is. All right. So let's go to I am Halaster Blackcloak. Let's see. My Simonscape right now is just spinning, so we'll see if it's going to work or not at all. I'm going to do a dog test. There we go. Now we'll see if it works.
I am Alistair Blackcloak.
Okay. No, it's not what I want. Okay. No, these are both moods. I don't want moods. And what about Hallister's Tower? That is also a mood. That actually says mood. Alright. Hallister Taunt.
You fell for it! Get it? Fell for
That's awesome. That is awesome. I really hope I remember that one because that's great. Missing audio. So why is it here? Delete it. Okay. Can I delete it? No, I can't. Okay. Alright, so that's it. Nope. I was checking to see what if I could play that quote. Alright, and let's leave you with a dog passing gas. So, if you want to see how this plays out, come on by 5:30. 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, and you can come by and say hello to everybody. We're going to go ahead and sign off here. Thanks for hanging out with me, Camzilla. And those of you on the Using the Tubes watching this later, thank you. And we will see you on the next time. Leave comments below, and I will respond to them. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.